The Book of Ruth, Ruth's lowly service, let me glean, Ruth 2, 1 through 23, Part 2. B. His extended kindness. 1. Shown to her at the noon meal, Ruth 2:14. A. Inviting her to eat with the rest of the workers. B. Passing roasted grain over for her to eat. 2. Shown by the instructions given to his young men, Ruth 2:15 and 16. A. To let her glean even among the sheaves without reproach. B. To purposely let stalks fall from the bundles for her to glean. 3. Allowing her to reap the ephah, about 30 to 50 pounds of barley, Ruth 2:17. A rather large amount for someone to glean from scratch. B. But then she had a lot of help from the clumsy workers. At the end of the day, Ruth returns back to the city where Naomi responds with great joy. A. Ruth shares her produce with Naomi. 1. Ruth shows her mother-in-law what she gleaned, Ruth 2:18. 2. Ruth gives Naomi her excess grain, Ruth 2:18. B. Naomi rejoices over God's kindness. 1. In response to Naomi's questions, Ruth tells her about Boaz, Ruth 2:19. 2. Naomi blesses the Lord, Ruth 2:20. A. For his kindness to the living and the dead. B. For Boaz is a close relative who would have a duty to preserve the name of a dead relative. C. Note the contrast to her earlier feelings. See Ruth 1:13, 20, and 21. C. Naomi counsels Ruth to continue. 1. Ruth tells of Boaz's instruction to continue gleaning among his workers, Ruth 2:21. 2. Naomi encourages her to stay with the women laborers in Boaz's field, Ruth 2:22. 3. Which Ruth does until the end of the harvest while living with Naomi, Ruth 2:23. Conclusion. 1. In this chapter we have seen two noteworthy examples of righteous character. A. Ruth's humility and willingness to minister to the needs of her mother-in-law. B. Boaz's kindness and sense of propriety in his treatment of a foreign woman in his field. 2. We saw Naomi's faith in God's care reassured. A. Even though she believed her earlier loss was due to God's discipline. B. She was convinced that God had not forsaken his kindness to the living and dead. In this story of Ruth's lowly service, we also see another truth displayed, that God gives grace to the humble. Likewise, you younger people, submit yourselves to your elders. Yes, all of you, be submissive to one another and be clothed with humility. For God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:5 through 7. Are we willing to render lowly service to those around us, humbling ourselves before God? Here ends our study of Ruth's lowly service, Let Me Glean, Chapter 2.